Now, how do I know you're getting me now?
No, because you're still going to be using the road ways. Is this same people there?
What? This is the same link. These are all the same people from before. Look.
Yes, how do I join that?
So can you check and see if it'll if the same link will be all right? We're trying to figure out technical difficulties. And yes, we're still on for 2 p.m. now because they delayed. Panel persons weren't showing up for the meeting. So nothing yet, so don't worry. I'm almost afraid to stop this again. I might just need to plug my phone in.
Yeah.
It's good?
Which one is this one now?
Right now, the same one. But it's not playing on the side of the truck. We'll figure it out. We're trying. You can see it on Facebook. Scroll down once you go to the page. The city is jamming the street.
Is it the same?
It's still the old stream. Go to the link.
You need to send me the link.
In the video, the link is in the video.
In the video?
In that email, the link is in the email.
Okay, is it possible you can send it to me?
If I can send it to you again.
You have my number?
Hold on, I gotta find it first. Yeah, guys, you're on standby because they delayed the meeting till 2.
Okay.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Okay.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna shut you off this time. I'm just gonna plug my battery in.
Okay.
Oh well, thank you. All right, I guess you're stuck with me. What time you got?
Oh my goodness. 1:42.
All right, we're getting closer.
Get in?
No, 2 o'clock they said.
Oh, she's right there.
Okay, so now I'm heading back to the gate. So I guess just to play it on the safe side, we're not going to cancel the stream because then they're going to have a hard time getting in. So you're just going to stand online with us for a little while longer.
First one, right? I just watched.
No. Oh, yes. All right, it's not there.
You're getting ready. You're getting
Yes,
ready.
okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you.
I missed you guys.
I know. I was hoping.
I heard you saw the letter, the Garrido letter. I'm glad I'm associated with that irresponsible thing the council has done.
What it actually does is he said it. He proves a point that he's selling off our health insurance to finance him. That's really all it says.
I was like, the most irresponsible. Are you serious?
High five. I'll see you inside.
I don't want to be on film.
No, it's me. I love Richard.
I feel like I really.
I know you're in my house
know.
every week anyway.
I am, and you're in mine.
Richard's helpful to me. He educates me where I need to be educated. Yeah, he's a sweet man.
He would have been here today, but his twins are.
I'm dying to meet him.
His twins are graduating.
Okay. Well, good for him. Well, thank you for coming and tell him I said thank you, and it was good to meet you both.
How come you're out here, not in there?
They're not starting the meeting till 2 now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just spoke to Lizette Cologne. She regrets not being.
I know.
She's
I
taking
gotta
care
go.
of her mother in Puerto Rico.
You were dealing with the time. At a time.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Ah,
You're gonna go to security and then just loop around the
thank you. Okay. So now we're headed into security. Where's Michelle? Hold on. Hold on.
Sergeant at Arms already knows. I cleared all of these people already before. For my family, for my dad.
Yes, 5 at a time though. But let me just double check it. They told me 30 for upstairs. That's what they told the sergeant was, right? So we just gotta come to the side and just look at the floor real quick and I'll get the
Who are you?
The sergeant knows.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
Excuse me.
Well, can I let the first 5 in then, or
the first 5 went in already, so I gotta wait. And you're coming from both sides too.
We're from the retirees.
Yeah,
I gotta have at least Michelle from my board in.
By the way, you did good the other night. I saw you on TV.
Oh yeah.
What do we want? When do we want?
Yes,
The
rents.
Ready?
Yes, I'm trying to get you in. You're on our board.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's go. And then to the other set. Come with us.
See, all you have to do is give me the eye. We're on our way.
That was slick, wasn't it?
Get the ring. Yeah, you're going to be phenomenal. You're in the ring game.
All right, now this is gonna be the scary part because I gotta put you through the X-ray machine.
Make sure your buttons and everything are off. That's the only thing. I put everything in my phone.
Yeah, my credit cards and. All right. Okay, so we're at the guard booth. There's other protests.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, try to consolidate everything. And then you can go right through that to us.
I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, listen, you know. I was there early this morning. I was going to get up with the chairs. Because once you say you can't, I've learned this. You can't get on. If I say 10, you can't be there at 10. You got to be there at 9. Because what I appreciate is all the speakers. They want to be listening.
I know.
That says something about who you are. You know, he does. In the midst of the fun.
Move outside. I'm trying to limit it to 60 for now.
That's the something wrong.
I know.
You got it. And that's one of his own there that's bringing in all these people. How do you come in? You got 15 people you want to bring in. That's crazy. That's going to start a fight right there.
Yes, it is.
How you doing?
Yeah, but they should have took care of that internal. Follow what I'm saying? Don't do that at the door.
Oh, wait, I'm hooked. Michelle gets stopped, and I'm the one with metal in my body.
You need a charger for your phone to make sure you've charged.
Michelle got me one. We go in together, so wait for her to come out.
That's 2 points usually.
All right, guys. I'll pass.
He's like, you should have left the books out. So I'm like, goodbye. Okay, fine. No, I know.
Okay, we're headed in.
He was good about it. I know. I know. Come on.
Where did Carol go?
I don't know where Carol went. She was standing there, and then next thing I know, she was gone. She should be in the next one. Hey, guys!
We're live streaming. Here, wait a second. Hold on.
You know, we gotta see. Are we supposed to be in?
Well, we're going to your meeting.
Glad to see you. Oh, listen, it ain't raining.
I didn't get a text message. Oh wait,
It
there's
ain't
some
raining.
of my colleagues. Okay, I'm not late.
You're not late yet.
Y'all get in there so you don't.
Yeah, just get in there.
All right.
Thank you.
Come on, guys, let's get those seats because you have to go to Boston.
Don't worry, we won't take you in the bathroom.
I'm so
That was
dry
Alexis.
and thirsty. I don't
I know. I didn't get a chance to run across to Dwayne Reed.
know. Like customer panelists.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, yours is good. It's probably awesome. FFBNC's.
This is where they don't have to. I don't know what's wrong with the step. What's wrong with that? Here's where the money people are getting 40. Your t-shirts. How are you, brother?
Bloom Energy.
When the lights go out, they'll be able to find you.
She would.
Thank you.
Does anyone need the elevator, or are we doing the stairs? Okay. Well, do you want to hold my live stream? Okay.
And it makes my day. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
The food is
Yeah, we'll go in. See? I'm not going to the bathroom.
Yes, sir.
More stairs. All right. Hey. You want to sit? Yeah, we can sit there. In here? Or up there? Feels good? Oops, sorry. You have enough seat? Hello, hello, hello. Bring Marianne here.
Yeah.
Save a seat for Marianne. Michelle. You good? I gotta keep a seat for Marianne.
And Michelle.
And Michelle, right.
Okay.
No,
Okay, so we'll save.
right. Right.
I think actually I did because I was gonna say last time I forgot his name. Who's his kid? Terrell, yeah. I don't know. Here.
You, Michelle.
Oh, she's in here. So you're reading Dash. Yeah, like, you're supposed to stay together.
She doesn't follow directions.
I have to tie a string around your wrist or something.
She doesn't follow directions. Sit here. Slide down. Michelle, sit there. You can sit here.
I need to plug in because my phone's dying.
You okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Oh, were you looking at like what they had?
Not your phone.
That's exactly what I did too. And then I was like,
I need to plug in. Okay. Okay, so the meeting will probably start in about 20 minutes, between 20 minutes. I guess everybody's got to get here first and assemble. And,
It's so much easier to meet someone and be like, hey, I need so and so, and they like listen and help you pass the bill, versus us like go one day and actually expect. So there's more to that. Like, right, bring something like that.
I got it. So, which you were saying, they'll probably start in 20 minutes. A lot of them are molding the ring, going out and molding. There's a couple of them. And down there.
Barry. There's a few in the press over there. We're just waiting for the list. Yes, the new time is 2 p.m.
I know anything about it. And I think a lot of people don't feel that ever comes down to the show.
More than radar. That's all. That's what you meant.
Yeah. The people in the
Perfect monster.
you know,
Right. Okay, we're plugging you in. That means it's on.
so, but now, like, back
Insight and interest too.
yeah, right. I just feel like there's more that we can and should do if we really want to.
So the email is the link, right?
Oh, well, I got cards for that one. Nothing must connect. It's very strict. I'm from Mountain. I'm in
I'm from Texas. So,
There we go.
but North Lake is totally different.
right.
Somebody was yeah. So that's exactly.
Sent a woman a tote bag, so you know what that means.
What?
We're here ready to fight. We're here ready to do business.
I mean, it could be. They're like the toys.
I can see that. I can see where you're going here. I'm trying to make connect
A video game.
something. Yeah. No.
Anyone.
Mental health. They believe mental health. And so, like, you know, I honestly, after
Oh, right. Right.
you should do this.
Right. Right. Exactly.
And they're gonna give you kids.
Exactly. Right. Right. And that's what. Oh, somebody comes. The way that we found that in Hawaii, something about maternal care. And everyone, when you say like we need to support like mothers and maternal health, everyone can sign on board. Everyone can get on board with that, like what hot parents for. And then but that underline, you know, that's woven in.
What is it? Your contact say about? Oh, the
That one, it has not gotten out of closed committee for multiple years. So why?
Guys, baby.
So if they really want to
They're over there, Russ.
really be big, so now that we know, and now that I know my husband,
Get your extra steps in today.
what's happening? Is someone trying to, or is it apparently like bars or people actually?
Hi, Ron.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nice to meet you.
Some sometimes people say they don't like to increase crime. Yeah, I have no idea. I think some people say that there's going to be a lot of, they want to get away from like guilt and regret senses. I don't know. It's just, I don't know where people it's ranging. I don't know, but then, so then you haven't met a friend. I have 3 friends who are also city councilmen, and they had information in California that like when this passed, that so we need to get better. We didn't understand that if there was any pushback and what it is. So apparently people are very, very, I don't even know what the word is, fearful or whatever, so they really feel comfortable with laws there, which is why I changed the verbiage, like it was introduced as one thing and then they changed it to the language. So anyway, we just need to have a better understanding. I thought we went in being like, this is such a no-brainer. People probably just don't know about it. Talk about it. Of course, people wanted to know. Anyway, we just kind of learned a lot. It was a big learning experience. What passes in the Senate, but it has never passed in the
How do you do that?
All right, if you lose audio for a second, guys. If you lose audio for a second, guys, we're just talking about some stuff. So we just mute it. The 3 dots, I'm gonna show Marianne how to mute.
Go ahead.
3 dots.
Mute microphone.
I mute. Yay! Now you can hear us.
She taught me a new trick.
There you go.
Okay.
See, you can learn as you go.
This thing works.
No, it does.
It does.
I'm charging mine. I was at 20%.
I'm live streaming or not. Oh.
That was like one, I know, but like, right.
Marianne, you want me to check there's an outlet up here that you can charge your phone?
There's one over there, but I'm live streaming, but I would need to be over there because, and I would need to be in a chair over there. They're not going to let you stand.
Right.
But that's it for right now.
Right. Well, also, I
Yeah,
know now
that'd
that
be
we
great.
have the bus, now we have the
Miriam probably went to Cat's Deli and is eating a pastrami on rye. No, Bill, we are not having lunch. We haven't even drank anything since breakfast, since coffee at breakfast. Snarky. I could definitely use lunch. I could use water. Yes, Roberta, audio was going in and out because we muted to talk. But you can definitely see, like, no one's here yet.
Right? And then we're going to add to that, right? For instance, sure.
What's that? Hi, wife.
Hi, wife. I don't know where they are.
We'll vouch for you. Want to write a letter to? Right. We'll vouch for you. I can't write. Even talk. We left the Pope.
Now you know, okay, we need to be meeting with the sponsor. We need to be meeting with the sponsor to gather information of some still. And also, more noise. That's what it was. She said the way that people really make change, like
She's not feeling good.
they were busting these people because they knew that so many people have. No, I don't know what it was, but something like that that ended up passing. You can't just
You got us.
We'll send some. I can't imagine. Did you get the
209.
I know. They're on the link. Oh, well, we have them all.
And there's still no one here.
Right there.
It's there.
And then I saw some in the hallway.
That's So there's a few council persons that decided to jump in at the 11th hour, not supporting us, but supporting that there be choice that we pay for. Yes, I can. Thank you. And so their memo comes out to support the choice of healthcare plan that a retired person would pay for. That's not promise. And that would be Councilman Lincoln Wessler and Eric Bodger. I'm gonna mute you guys for a second, so don't get afraid. I'm coming right back. Okay, I'm gonna teach you a trick, Michelle. Watch. I can mute the.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even see that on there.
Well, listen. We know that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. By telling putting out a public letter today without working with us, talking with us, understanding that option is not an option, telling a retiree they could choose addendum B. There is no addendum B. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. If council wants to get behind supporting retirees, they should support the promise that was made to retirees as the promise was made. The promise was made that you would have premium-free choice of healthcare for the rest of your life because that's what we earned and paid for. So by telling retirees, oh yeah, you could have addendum B, there is no addendum B. So, this is what happens when you have an uneducated council member thinking that they're going to advocate for the union. The union is trying to harm us, take away our healthcare benefits to finance their healthcare. That's not where they should be standing. So thank you for showing who you really are and where you really stand, because that's not what we support. We support that our healthcare, we should have an option of having a Medigap plan offered to us that we stay on traditional Medicare. You suggesting addendum B to the Aetna contract. Have you seen the Aetna contract? Because we haven't. We've only seen the draft. And if you have it, we've been asking for it, and they've been telling us we can't have it to the end of July. So one, I'd like to have a copy of the Aetna contract. Two, if you're talking about option B, then that puts you on the side of the unions and the mayor back in January, where they wanted to offer us a choice of healthcare plans that we paid for. You see, the unions negotiated this deal at the unions, and the union leadership dealt with this issue with their own union members. Retirees, we're not under a contract, and our former unions don't negotiate for us. So which side do you stand on, Lincoln Ressler and Eric Botcher? That's my question for you, because clearly today your letter says you don't stand with retirees in your district. So that's where we stand, I guess, right? There is no addendum B. Option B was that a choice of healthcare plans would be available to a retiree and that we had to pay for them. That is not an option. See, when we show up late for work, we get in trouble. Gracie Mansion. So, who said option B? So A.R. Francis. So a letter came out today by Eric Botcher and Lincoln Ressler saying that they support addendum B to the Aetna contract. There is no such thing as the addendum B. So they don't know what the hell they're talking about. But option B was that a choice of healthcare plans was available to retirees, but you had to pay for your health plan choice. Tell me to shush.
No, wasn't that option
Option C was that a choice of healthcare remained, choice of plans, but you didn't pay for it. Option B was you paid for it. Sandy Einbinder. Marion, I love the way you peel the onion no matter who is shoveling out another level of bullshit. And you do it consistently and spontaneously. I know you need to be alive. What is it like, like debunking live bullshit?
Oh, I know. I mean, this is crazy.
I just found Marianne by my friend Pam and started watching her videos last night. I've learned so much. I appreciate it. Well, you're welcome, Joanne. This would have never happened to retirees when I worked there. Peter Malone was the speaker. Yes, he was, and actually Peter protected us for decades. Well, it appears right now, Lynn, that there are 2 council members so far opposing us that they just posted publicly, which would be Lincoln Ressler and Eric Botcher. Oh, I know. There were so many people today that said that that they don't have an opponent, but they were writing my name in their ballot anyway. I'm like, you're gonna have to rent me so much to rent your sofa. It's okay that you can't be here, Francis. That's why we're bringing it to you. We know a lot of people can't make it here. Yes, we know Michael Moser makes over $350,000 a year. And when he retires, he'll have 2 pensions. I know, Bill, they are behind. Does a food truck come in or something?
So I should stop at the philosopher.
What was the food truck that used to come to the academy?
Oh,
I drew a blank. Well, I don't know. I don't remember.
Sluggo.
Sluggo, that's right. We need a Sluggo cart. Thank you, Joanne, for the donation. We could definitely use it.
Oh, I got some
Let's start the campaign to have retirees that live in their districts vote them out. Absolutely, Joe. Not going to have a choice. I totally missed that. That was Lincoln Ressler, right behind us.
Where?
He just walked outside.
Oh, get out. Was you calling him?
As I was calling him out on my phone.
That's why he walked out. He's going away. The party went outside. That's the first time.
Thank you. So at Scale Brewer, looks like Eric Dinowitz, Shekhar Krishnan, Shahana Hanif, Justin Brannon is here. There you go. Oops. Lincoln Wrestler just sat down.
Council members, please take your seats so we can get a head count. Get down, please.
Wait, Natalie. Oh, sorry.
Can we close the ropes in the back, please, gentlemen?
Nothing's happened yet, guys. The meeting hasn't even started. I don't know, Michelle. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet on the floor, please. Quiet on the floor, please. Please find a seat. Quiet, please. Council staffers, please find a seat. Thank you. Council members, please have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please place all electronic devices to vibrate. Mr. Majority Leader.
Good afternoon and welcome to the stated meeting of June 22nd, 2023. I'm Majority Leader Keith Powers. I'd like to thank everyone here today for joining us. If you'd like to follow along, the agenda for today's meeting is posted on our website.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
All rise.
Which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Abreu, present. Ariola.
Present.
Aviles. Ayala.
Present.
Barron. Here. Pacha.
Present.
Randall. Here. Brewer.
Here.
Brooks Powers.
Present.
Cabal.
Present.
Carr. Present. De La Rosa.
Here.
Dinowitz. Here. Farias.
Present.
Elise.
Presente.
Gennaro. Gutierrez.
Presente.
Hanif.
Here.
Hanks.
Present.
Holden. Here. Hudson.
Present.
Joseph.
Present.
Kagan.
Present.
Krishna.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Lewis.
Present.
Martin. Here.
Present.
Menon.
Here.
Moya.
Present.
Narcisse.
Present.
Nurse. Jose.
Present.
Palladino. Wrestler. Here. Richardson Jordan.
Here.
Riley. Salamanca. I'm sorry, Rivera.
Present.
Salamanca. Sanchez. Schulman.
Here.
Stevens.
Here. Present.
Velasquez. Vernikoff. Williams.
Present.
Watt.
Present.
Aviles.
Presente.
Yeager. Borelli. Sanchez.
Present.
Thank you. Powers.
I'm here.
Speaker Adams.
Present.
Thank you. We'll now have today's invocation, which will be delivered by Reverend Dr. Kirkpatrick Holhol of Lenox Road Baptist Church, located at 1356 Nostrand Avenue in Brooklyn. Welcome. Thank you. Shall we all stand? Right.
O God, our Creator, we come before you this afternoon seeking your blessing and your favor upon our great city. We offer thanksgiving for this day, another season, and another opening of this session. We thank you, O God, for leading us and guiding us through the many challenges that we have faced as a city thus far. The Holy Scriptures remind us to pray for the prosperity of our city. And when the city prospers, we will also prosper. God, you have brought us through some of the most challenging periods in our history, where so many people have suffered loss and were deeply affected by the coronavirus, gun violence, and the migration of people seeking to make this city their home, as so many have done before. And so, God, we seek your guidance and your wisdom for the challenges that we continually face as a city. We pray, O God, for the leadership and for the members of this city council. We pray for the speaker, Adrian Adams, and all those who are called to serve the people of this city with integrity, compassion, and with justice. We pray for every legislator that have been given the opportunity to serve. We pray that every law that is passed will reflect justice and equity for all of our citizens. We pray for those who are marginalized in our city, those who depend on our just laws so that they may all have access to good health care, education, fair housing, and a safe place to call home.
Amen.
Pray for those who do not have a voice and rely on their public servants to speak for them. We pray for those who are on the forefront for the cause of justice. Grant them perseverance and courage to continue in the things that will bring about a better society. And so we pray for New York City, that it will prosper, and that the issues that unite us will take precedent over the things that divide us. As this session opens, and as our public servants deliberate the faith and future of our city, help each one to remember that we're all God's children, created in God's image to be in partnership one with the other, working for the cause of all who call this city their home. And so, O God, we now invoke your blessings, your grace, and your mercy to rest, remain, and abide with us all, now and forever. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. I would now ask City Council Member Rita Joseph to spread the invocation on the record.
Thank you, Majority Leader. I'd like to thank Reverend Dr. Cohol of Lennox Baptist Road Church from the 40th Council District and welcome him to City Hall today. Lennox Road Baptist Church has been a staple in our community, and I'm forever grateful for their contributions and commitment to the 40th Council District. I make a motion for anonymous consent to spread that invocation in full upon the record.
Thank you. We'll now turn to Councilor Lincoln Ressler for the adoption of minutes.
Make a motion that the minutes of the stated meeting of May 25th, 2023 be adopted as printed.
Thank you. Messages and papers from the mayor?
None.
Communication from city, county, and borough offices?
None.
Petitions and communications?
None.
Land use call-ups?
None.
Thank you. We'll now have communication from Speaker Adrian Knox.
Thank you, Majority Leader, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to begin by acknowledging the death of several New Yorkers who died from fatal fires since we last met. Fires occurred in council members Stevens and Dinowitz's districts, and just this week, 4 people were killed in a fire sparked by a lithium-ion battery in Councilmember Marte's district. So far this year, we have lost 13 people to lithium battery fires, most of which were preventable. There is more work to do at every level of government to fix this critical issue because lives depend on it. As we continue to negotiate the city's fiscal year 2024 budget, we remain committed to restoring critical investments in essential services that our families, communities, and city rely on to succeed, but were left out of the mayor's proposed budget. While we understand the future budget challenges ahead, our city cannot undermine itself and worsen them by failing to invest in housing, education, libraries, mental health, and economic opportunity. The next several days will be critical for New York City and the communities we represent. We cannot pursue a path that destabilizes working families. We must choose the responsible, smart approach that makes necessary investments and protects against future risks. For the health, safety, and well-being of our city, the choice is clear. This past Sunday, colleagues, was Father's Day. Fathers, grandfathers, and father figures play an integral role in the health, safety, and stability of our families. They are role models who shape our lives for the better, and I want to give a shout out to all of the fathers in the council chambers today. I hope all of you had a happy, happy Father's Day. On Monday, we celebrated Juneteenth, a day in which we recommit to the work of achieving equity and justice for Black people across our city and nation. We take this day to commemorate the ongoing struggle for liberation and freedom and reflect on the path forward. Here in the council, we have a Juneteenth legislative package introduced by council members Barron, Hudson, Lewis, Nurse, Stevens, and Williams. Coming to terms with the truth of our past is critical to our future. It requires honesty and transparency, which are critical steps towards healing and reconciliation as we address the institutional legacies of past harms. And I hope all New Yorkers had a reflective and meaningful Juneteenth. June 19th was also World Sickle Cell Awareness Day, which was designated with a goal of increasing public awareness of sickle cell disease and supporting those who have been diagnosed with this blood disorder. Sickle cell disease disproportionately impacts African Americans, yet not enough people know what it is or the pain it causes. We hope the continued spotlight on this condition will finally bring the necessary resources and treatment that patients and their families deserve. Tuesday was World Refugee Day, a time when we celebrate refugees living here in New York City and around the world and honor those who we've lost in pursuit of safety and opportunity. We are proudly a city of immigrants, and we welcome those who seek refuge in our great city. Finally, on July 4th, we will celebrate Independence Day, and I wish you and your families a happy, safe 4th of July. Before we continue, I want to wish a happy early birthday to council members Rafael Salamanca, Linda Lee, and Amanda Farias. Now let's move on to our stated agenda. First, we'll vote on the following finance items. Introduction 1051B, sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brennan, would authorize the expansion of the screen entry programs to qualified tenants in Battery City Park and select former Mitchell-Lama buildings. 4, preconsidered resolutions setting the interest rates for the non-payment of property taxes. 2, preconsidered resolutions to authorize Article 11 exemptions for 8 buildings in Council Members Salamanca Jr.'s and Stevens districts. A preconsidered resolution to authorize an Article 11 exemption for 1 building in Councilmember Farias' district. A preconsidered resolution to authorize an Article 11 exemption for 1 building in Councilmember Sanchez's district. A preconsidered resolution to authorize an Article 11 exemption for 59 buildings in Councilmember Lewis's district. Next, we will vote on the following pieces of legislation. Resolution 80, sponsored by Councilmember Justin Brannan, calls on Congress to pass and the President to sign legislation to increase the supply and affordability of housing and to adjust how area median income is calculated. We thank our staff members, Taylor Zaloni, Andrew Warren, and Jose Conde. We will also vote on several resolutions from the Committee on Cultural Affairs. Resolution 199, sponsored by Councilmember Crystal Hudson, declares June as Caribbean Heritage Month in our city with the largest and most diverse Caribbean community outside of the Caribbean itself. Resolution 285, sponsored by Councilmember Charles Barron, calls on Congress and the President to end the embargo and travel ban on Cuba and remove Cuba from the state sponsors of terrorism list due to the harm it causes to the Cuban people. Resolution 623, sponsored by Cultural Affairs Committee Chair Chi Osei, designates May 21st annually as Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace Day in our city, recognizing his contributions to the cultural landscape of his home borough of Brooklyn, New York City, and the world. Resolution 624, also sponsored by Chair Osei, designates July 8th annually as Reggie Combat Jack Osei Day in our city. Contributions to hip hop and culture as a lawyer, executive, editor, pioneering podcaster, and of course, if you didn't know, Councilmember Osei's father.
Yeah.
And Resolution 645, sponsored by Councilmember Kevin Riley, designates June as Fatherhood Recognition Month annually in our city, honoring the contributions of fathers and father figures to families and communities. We thank our staff members Regina Paul and Brenda McKinney. Next are several bills from our Parks and Recreation Committee. Preconsidered legislation sponsored by Parks and Recreation Committee Chair Shekhar Krishnan would co-name 112 streets, thoroughfares, and public places based on the requests of communities and council members. Introduction 227A, sponsored by Councilmember Gail Brewer, would make the biographical information of any person or entity for whom a street, park, playground, or city-owned facility is named publicly available on the city's website. And Introduction 7A, sponsored by Deputy Speaker Diana Ayala, would codify free youth memberships for the city's 36 recreation centers operated by the Department of Parks and Recreation into law. Currently, the city offers discounted memberships to seniors, people with disabilities, and veterans as well. We thank our staff members, Christopher Sartori and Patrick Mulvihill. Next, a bill from our Youth Services Committee. Introduction 54, sponsored by Councilmember Farrell Lewis, would require the Department of Youth and Community Development to include financial empowerment education in its youth employment and runaway and homeless youth programs. We thank our staff member, Christina Yelamati. From the Public Safety Committee, Introduction 10018, sponsored by Councilmember Lynn Shulman, it would permit enforcement agencies to fine commercial property owners who lease to unlicensed, and unlawful sellers of marijuana or tobacco products. Thank you to our staff members, Jeremy Whiteman and Chad Benjamin. Introduction 561B, sponsored by Council members Crystal Hudson and Carlina Rivera, would authorize the city to establish or fund unconditional, guaranteed income programs for certain eligible low-income families and individuals. It will set up a framework for such programs to preserve participants' access to public benefits to the greatest extent possible and provide data for the purpose of analysis and policy making. We thank our staff members, Wesley Jones and Jessica Boulay. Finally, we will vote on some of the legislative proposals that are part of the Council's Mental Health Roadmap, envisioned by our Mental Health Committee Chair, Linda Lee. Councilmember Lee, Majority Leader Keith Powers, Councilmember Bottcher, and I released this roadmap with advocates to improve mental health in our city. It focuses on addressing existing challenges in the city's mental health care landscape and strengthening the infrastructure and investments in evidence-based solutions at the community level to improve mental health outcomes for New Yorkers. The roadmap is an evolving pathway to a healthier city, and today we are voting on a portion of its legislative proposals. We look forward to continuing this work in partnership with service providers, advocates, community members, and government stakeholders, and I thank Chair Lee for her leadership in moving this roadmap forward. Resolution 88, sponsored by Councilmember Robert Holden, calls on Congress to pass and the President to sign legislation to fully repeal the Institutions for Mental Diseases exclusion from the Social Security Act that would allow the use of Medicaid funding for mental health and substance use disorder treatment. Resolution 583, sponsored by Councilmember Rita Joseph, calls on New York State to subsidize the education and licensing costs of CUNY students who commit to working in public sector mental health professions, which historically experience high turnover rates and staffing shortages. Resolution 587, sponsored by Majority Leader Keith Powers, calls on the New York State Office of Mental Health to expand enforcement of mental health and substance use disorder insurance parity and apply for federal grants to enforce insurance parity so insurance discrimination is reduced as a barrier to mental health care access. Resolution 588A, also sponsored by Majority Leader Powers, calls on New York State to collaborate closely with New York City to achieve their shared goal of developing 35,000 units of supportive housing. Resolution 589, sponsored by Majority Leader Powers, calls on the federal government to ensure that calls to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline program are routed based on geolocation rather than area code, so people are routed to appropriate services based on their geographic location rather than simply the area code of their phone. And Resolution 592, sponsored by Councilmember Lynn Shulman, calls on the state and federal governments to expand the availability of mental health professionals for low and moderate income New Yorkers by increasing Medicaid reimbursement rates for behavioral health services. Now on to the introductions for the mental health roadmap we will be voting on. Introduction 706A, sponsored by Councilmember Shauna Brady, would require the Mayor's Office of Community Mental Health to maintain a public, searchable online database of available mental health services in New York City on its website. This would improve access to mental health resources for New Yorkers. Introduction 1006A, sponsored by Councilmember Eric Bottcher, would require the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene to develop and implement a public awareness campaign and conduct outreach on mental health and behavioral health programs in New York City that provide low-cost and no-cost services, specifically to those who do not qualify for health insurance based on federal guidelines. Thank you to our staff members, Sarah Suker and Christy Dwyer. Thank you very much for your attention. Now I will turn it back over to our Majority Leader.
Thank you, Speaker Adams. We'll now move into discussion of general orders. We will start with Councilmember Crystal Lutton.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Councilmember Crystal Hudson. It's my New York humble, you know.
Thank you so much, and happy Pride, everyone. Happy Pride, everyone. Today we're voting on a handful of items I'm proud to sponsor. The first, Intro 561B, will allow the city to create direct cash assistance programs to support low-income families Across the country, cities of all sizes have adopted direct cash assistance programs as tangible policy solutions to combat poverty, stimulate growth in their local economies, reduce income inequality, and offer their vulnerable constituencies a lifeline that affords them greater economic and social freedom. With the passage of Intro 561B, my Black agenda for New York City is becoming a reality, and New York is taking an historic, critical step toward offering all marginalized New Yorkers direct cash assistance. I thank Speaker Adams for her leadership and the countless advocates for their continued fight to ensure this bill became law. I'm also proud to be passing Resolution 199, which declares June as Caribbean Heritage Month. The Caribbean diaspora in New York City is strong, bold, and vibrant, with over 800,000 New Yorkers hailing from the Caribbean. Marking June as Caribbean Heritage Month is a recognition of the vast, varied, and storied contributions of our Caribbean neighbors and my colleagues here in the City Council, whose lineage comes from the great countries of Jamaica, Haiti. We're voting on 2 co-namings in my district. The first honors the late Edward Carter, a community activist, executive director of the Fort Greene Youth Patrol, longtime member of Brooklyn Community Board 2, and the unofficial mayor of Fort Greene. I'd like to thank Tarana Carter for her dedication and work to secure the co-naming for her father. The second honors Tomchai Tamimin, the Central Talmudical Academy of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, founded in 1897 by Rabbi Shlomo Schneerson, that has grown into an international network. Notably, today holds significant importance for the worldwide Chabad Lubavitch community, whose headquarters are located in my district, because it is the anniversary of the passing of the revered Lubavitcher Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, who resided in my district and built the international Chabad movement. I'd like to thank Dr. Bierman and Rabbi Yossi Langsam for shepherding this co-naming through the process. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go to Councilmember Lynn Schulman, followed by Councilmember Gail Brewer.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Illegal weed shops have been proliferating in New York City, putting our communities at risk. The cannabis they sell has been found to be adulterated, they sell to children, and they prevent licensed sellers from opening legitimate businesses. That's why I'm extremely proud that the Council will be voting on Intro 1001B this afternoon, which will create a penalty structure to hold landlords accountable for knowingly leasing commercial premises to illegal businesses. Our hope is that this legislation will incentivize landlords to do the right thing and keep our community safe by only leasing commercial space to legal licensed businesses. This is a game changer because right now, enforcement efforts are aimed at the sellers and not who's leasing to them. I want to thank the Speaker for her leadership and support in this issue, as well as the Public Safety Chair, Kamala Harris, committee staff. I want to also acknowledge Jeff Baker, who doesn't always get acknowledged at these on these intros, but he was very committed to working on this with me, so thank you. Advocates and the many community members who share my deep concern for the safety of our neighborhoods. I also want to thank my Chief of Staff, Jonathan Boucher, and my Legislative Director, Kevin McAleer. Thank you.
Thank you. Now go to Councilor Gail Brewer, followed by Councilmember Julie Wong.
Thank you very much. I'm talking about Intro 227. I want to thank the Speaker. I want to thank Park Chair Krishnan, also Chris Sartori and Patrick Mulhill from the Parks Committee, and all the council staff for the support of this bill, which I introduced in 2004. I don't know if everybody was around then, probably not. But I want to say it's really important to be passing today. Currently, other than within supportive document for each local law, there is no biographical or background information for the ceremonial street co-names that are posted on any city agency website and readily available to the public. When you see a street sign with a co-naming, you don't really know who that person is, and certainly neither the tourists or school children. In my district, I have, famous artists listed on the street signs, like Alvin Ailey, Isaac Bashevis Singer, Edgar Allan Poe. But most street co-namings are for everyday heroes, not for famous New Yorkers. And I want to add that after 9/11, in our neighborhoods, many street co-names were added based on people who died in 9/11. And in my district, my predecessor, Helen Rosenthal's brother, died in 9/11, and I remember going with her and her mother to 72nd Street and putting the sign up for Josh Rosenthal. That would be an example of somebody who was a hero but he's not well known and should be on a site. My understanding is that the municipal library website will be where this is placed. We will go back at least to the 1990s, and if I had my way, I'm going to fight to have even longer biographical information up on the website. Today also we're passing a code-naming bill for Dee Dee Ford, whose name will be added to the corner of West 94th Street and Amsterdam Avenue. She was a River Park Nursery School teacher for 50 years, and she was the first African-American woman to teach there. She is just as deserving of people knowing her story as those with more recognizable names. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Wan, followed by Councilmember Joseph.
Today, I hope you will join me in approving the intersection of 45th Street and Newtown Road in Astoria as Dolma Nadoon Way. And this is a memory of Dolma Nadoon, who was a 7-year-old child who was hit by a car this February crossing the street on her way back from a playground. And it is incredibly heartbreaking, and we know that the street co-naming will not bring this child back, but we have been fortunate to be able to honor her memory, and special thanks to Councilmember Tiffany Caban, Assemblymember Joseph Gonzalez Rojas, Senator Mike Gianaris, as well as Councilmember Selvina Brooks Powers and the Transportation Commissioner Rodriguez. We were able to, in a very quick period of time, to honor the Tibetan tradition of the 49-day period after her death, that we are not only co-naming the street, but we are also able to put in a street light so that this intersection, the traffic signals will make this intersection much safer. So I say with a heavy heart, we are sorry for her passing way too soon, but we honor her family, especially her father, Sari Wang Du, who had been a fierce advocate to make sure that no child's life is ever taken away in this intersection ever again. And thank you so much for the support.
Thank you. We'll now go to Councilmember Joseph.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Thank you, Speaker, for your leadership. Today I stand in support of Resolution 583, which calls on the New York State to subsidize education and licensing costs in CUNY for students who commit to work in the public sector in mental health professions, which fields historically experience high turnover rates and staffing shortage. Today, I'm calling on my colleagues to vote. I'm urging all members to vote in favor of this bill. In doing so, you will alleviate the financial burden of those prospective students in choosing a profession to serve mentally ill New Yorkers to get back on their feet. Counting on you to do the right thing. Thank you. And today, in my district, we have two co-namings. Reverend Dr. Onole Augustin Jacques, a rich background. He was a faithful, courageous, dedicated minister who is best known to the diaspora and his colleagues as the Apostle of the Haitians. On September 24, 1967, Dr. Jacques and the Church of God officially organized the first Haitian Church of God in America. To many reverends and Dr. Onole, Jacques was a beloved pastor and bishop known to a man of faith, a man of valor, and the preacher of righteousness. Due to unfortunate circumstances, Dr. Jacques became ill and entered glory on April 28, 2011. We are proud to have the opportunity to honor him and his legacy by co-naming a street to him. Also, we're having another co-naming. Darius Elijah Roach was born on May 27, 2005 at Brooklyn University Hospital to two loving parents, Dawn Roach and Darrell Gibbs. Elijah graduated from my school from PS6 and went on to MS2 Academy in May of 2020, continued his education at Clara Barton High School, where he was well received and respected by his peers and teachers. Sadly, due to gun violence, he was taken from his family and friends on December 30th, 2022. We're asking for you to vote to request co-naming in the favor of Darius Elijah Roach, May 27, 2005 to December 30th. On behalf of the family of the late Reverend Honoré Augustin Jacques and Darius Roach, I want to say thank you.
Right on time. Thank you. We'll now go to Councilor Martinez.
Thank you, Majority Leader Powers. I want to take a moment to recognize some very special students from my district who are watching today's stated live stream to see the passage of Intro 1001A by Councilmember Shulman into law. Last week, I've had several of these brave and courageous young students from PS 75 come to my office and deliver over 350 petition signatures and voice their concerns about vaping and illegal vape shops in their community. During that visit, I assured them that the city would always listen to those within our community, especially the children. Their civic engagement and sense of community is inspiring, and I am proud to be voting yes into Intro 1001 today on their behalf. Also, I would like to mention the two incredible individuals who will be honored today with street co-namings in my district, Mr. Eric E. Garvin Jr. and Mr. Leon Wallace. Mr. Eric E. Garvin served as a social justice attorney and was working with the mayor's office from 2016 to 2021 before fatally being shot while in Chile on January 14th, 2023. He was the grandson of Miss Margie Garvin, who is an icon of the Staten Island community, and we continue to send our prayers to her and her family. Mr. Leon Wallace was a proud veteran in my community who served in the United States Air Force as a jet mechanic. After being honorably discharged from the Air Force, he spent the rest of his life in service of others. These gentlemen are two of Staten Island's finest, and I'm proud to be able to honor them, the others as well-deserved street co-namings in my district. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Farrellis.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today we'll be voting on my bill, Intro 54, a local law that will give young people a chance to understand and comprehend the economic justice system. Our city funds and creates programs that support our youth and children with a focus on athletics, wellness, career building, workplace soft skills, and summer employment, However, we are overdue for a focus on fiscal and financial toolkits our children can utilize to be productive citizens. I want to encourage my colleagues to vote for Intro 54. I also want to highlight two co-namings that we will be voting on today. One in Councilmember Joseph's district, Reverend Dr. Andre Auguste Jacques Way, my former pastor who passed away many years ago, but a major pillar in the Flatbush community, as well as Eleanor P. Bernard Way, two major pillars in the Flatbush community that help shape our economic development in Flatbush. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak at this time? We have Councilman David Clark.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Just note today that we'll be voting for the first time on separate interest rates for non-payment of real property taxes for those who are in a payment plan. This is a result of Local Law 36 of 2023, which was prime sponsored by myself and our Finance Chair, Justin Brannon, and was enacted earlier this year. And it recognizes a simple fact that most of those who have fallen behind on their real property tax payments are hardworking folks who simply fell on difficult times, and they need a little help getting themselves out of a hole. And so finally, we'll be allowing them to have a more lenient interest rate as they seek to do that. And I'm very proud of the 2% rate that will be enacted today, which is historically one of the lowest ever, if not ever, outside of the pandemic period. And so I want to thank the Speaker for her support on this issue, the Minority Leader, all colleagues past and present who have raised this issue up over the years, and all the great work of staff, and particularly the finance staff, Kathleen Ahn, Michael Twomey, Ray Majewski, and of course Emma Dev, who worked so hard to get us the 2% rate. So with that said, I thank you very much, and I urge my colleagues to vote in the affirmative.
Thank you. Congratulations. We'll now go to Councilmember Phyllis.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am happy to call for your support for Intro 1102 and lifting up in particular two co-namings in my district. Andy Varela was a founding member of the Sunset Park Lions Club, helping small businesses get started and helping homeowners obtain their first home across our community. After retirement, Mr. Varela also served on the board for Lutheran Medical Center and our community board. He was committed to giving back to our community, and we are so delighted to be able to honor his memory and legacy, which rolls even much deeper than these words today. And lastly, I'd also like to call attention to another co-naming in honor of Nancy Curse Gooding, a Red Hook leader who was co-leader for the 51st Assembly District back in the 1970s and formed the Welfare Recipients Action Group, which created a job readiness program for young men and women in Red Hook. Nancy also fought for a free lunch program in the local elementary school, PS 15. She fought for seniors to have access to affordable groceries. Nancy was a longtime member of Community Board 6, an unrecognized hero, and so honored and hope for all of your support in making sure Nancy's legacy is also part of this new co-naming. So thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you. Is anyone else signed up? Seeing none, we'll move into the agenda today. We'll go to the report of special committees.
None.
Report of standing committees.
Report of the Committee on Finance, Intro 1051B, tax exemptions for seniors and people with disabilities.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Reso 690 through Preconsidered Reso 693, fixing of tax rates.
Finance.
Preconsidered LU 232 and Reso 698 through Preconsidered LU 236 and Reso 702, tax exemptions.
Coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on General Welfare, Intro 561B, direct cash assistance pilot programs.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Mental Health, Disabilities, and Addiction, Intros 706A and 1006A, Online Services Database and Mental Health Education.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Resolution 88, repeal of the Institutions for Mental Diseases Exclusion.
Coupled on general orders.
Resolutions 583, 587, 588A, 589, and 592, Mental Health Roadmap Legislative Package.
All coupled on general orders except for resolution 588A, which was amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Parks and Recreation, Intro 7A, Recreational Facilities.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Intro 227A, Street and Park Name Changes.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Preconsidered Intro 1102A, naming of 112 thoroughfares in public places.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Public Safety, Intro 1001B, unlicensed cannabis or tobacco sellers.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Report of the Committee on Youth Services, Intro 54A, Financial Empowerment Education and DYCD programs.
Amended and coupled on general orders.
Resolution appointing various persons, Commission of Deeds.
Coupled on general orders, I now ask that the clerk take a roll call vote on all of the items coupled on today's general orders calendar.
Lee.
Aye on all.
Marte.
Can I explain my vote? I want to thank Councilmember Brandon for passing this bill today that will allow residents in former Michelamas to have access to Screen Tree. And I really want to congratulate two activists, Lisa Berger and John Scott, for all their work in the past 10 years to pass a similar bill on the state level. And I'm really honored to vote on Corky Lee Way, which is really a huge moment for Chinatown and Chinese American photographers. He is the self-proclaimed Chinese photography laureate of America, and no one ever disputed it. And this is a huge moment for Chinatown and the Chinese community around America. Thank you. I vote aye on all.
Abreu.
Aye.
Ariolo.
Aye on all except for Intro 561B, for which I am a no.
Aviles.
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
I don't know, with the exception of Reso 88, for which I abstain based on the concern of the lack of a mechanism and full support for funding and integrating services for community-based providers. Is that correct?
Yes. Thank you. Ayala.
I vote aye.
Barron.
I vote no on preconsidered Reso 690, 691, 692, and 693, and I vote aye on all the rest.
Butcher.
Aye on all and requesting unanimous consent to vote on the resolutions.
Go ahead.
Aye on all.
Brennan.
Aye on all.
Brewer.
Aye on all.
Brooks Powers.
Aye on all.
Caban.
Aye on all with the exception of Resolution 88, on which I abstain. Thank you.
Carr.
Voting no on Intro 561B and aye on the rest.
Which I abstain.
Thank you. Dinowitz.
Aye.
Farias.
I vote aye on all.
Feliz.
Aye on all.
Gennaro.
Mr. Leader, I wish to speak about my vote.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just got in, so I missed when people were talking about the co-names they were doing. But one of the ones I'm doing today is about Barry Commoner. He had a lot to do with the work of this body. He invented the environmental movement, essentially. He invented the concerned scientist movement, and he's done he's done many things for everyone in this room and everyone in the world. He's the one who convinced President Kennedy to work with the Soviets to end the nuclear airborne testing. He did research at Washington University in St. Louis, at which he had the strong feeling that radioactive fallout from atmospheric testing was going throughout the world. And the way he proved that, he had mothers of toddlers donate baby teeth, and he proved, and there was a similar amount of radioactive fallout, various isotopes that are only found in radioactive fallout from nuclear testing in the tests of these, in the teeth of these kids. And with this, he convinced President Kennedy to work with the Soviets to end atmospheric nuclear testing. He started the concerned scientist movement. He testified in these chambers countless times when I was a staff member and when I was a member. He was one of the greatest advocates for New York City recycling law passed in 1989. He passed away at age 95. He finished his work at Queens College, where he headed the Center for the Biology of Natural Systems. He ran for president in 1980 with a woman of color as a running mate who's on the ballot in 30 states. He's a remarkable person who mentored me, was a friend to me, and who encouraged me to put my hat in the area. And I just want to honor him this way with this co-naming. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Jones? Yeah, I think you need to register your vote.
Yes, I should vote too. I vote aye.
Thank you, sir. Gutierrez?
I vote aye on all with the exception of Resolution 88, from which I abstain.
Hanif?
I vote aye on all with the exception of Resolution 88, on which I abstain.
Hanks?
I vote aye on all.
Holden?
Aye on all except for intro 561D, of which I vote no.
Hudson?
I know.
Joseph?
I don't know.
Kagan?
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
Thank you. So today I'm honored to vote for two street connections in my district. One is Rachel Sutton Way at intersection of Ocean Parkway and Avenue U. She was tragically killed in a car accident on her way home from the synagogue. She was an amazing social worker, working for the Bikur Cholim Society and helping many Jewish immigrants from Syria to settle here in New York City. And second street connecting is for Reverend Sylvester and Georgia McKeddy Way in Coney Island on West 25th Street and Neptune Avenue. This was an amazing couple that helped many families in Coney Island, including visiting sick people and saying kind words of encouragement to people who needed their support. So I'm very privileged and honored to support the street connections today. And I'm voting yes and no on all except of I'm voting no on intro 561B.
Thank you. Krishna?
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
I am very honored today to do two street namings in my community. My first nomination is for Janet Kelly, who is an important civic leader in my district. She served as the director of the Jackson Heights Beautification Group and was the leader of the Garden Club, which is very involved in beautifying the community and improving a 34th Avenue open street. She was also active in many various community activities, and the founder of the Jackson Heights Knitting Group, and was a key organizer of the annual Children's Halloween Parade in Jackson Heights. My other nomination is for Mike Crowley, who was the founding member and president of the Jackson Heights Beautification Group. Under his leadership, JHBG helped to landmark Jackson Heights as a historic district. He was instrumental in so many other activities that helped to improve our community in many ways, including establishing the first ever community-based anti-graffiti program in the city, the JHBG Architectural and Good Neighbor Awards, the JHBG Halloween Parade, the Garden Club, created the Friends of Traverse Park, and a community newsletter that's still in circulation today. All of them have contributed immensely to our community of Jackson Heights, and I'm proud to be voting on their street namings today, and would urge everyone to vote yes on this. Thank you. And with that, I vote aye.
Thank you. Lewis.
Aye on all.
Mealy.
Aye on all.
Thank you. Menon.
Aye on all.
Moya.
And would I?
Thank you. Narcisse.
Permission to explain one part of my vote.
Go ahead.
For the street co-naming, Eleanor in Church Avenue and East 43rd, it's she was a leader that always trying to bind people together. So today I'm very proud to say, yes, I support 110% for a person that always giving herself in that community, always want to do more, want to see people do better in the community. And if you have been on the Eastern Parkway for Carnival, she was one of the best organizers. So for that, I would say aye to all.
Nurse.
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Today I'm really honored to be voting in favor of a street co-naming. Want to uplift one name in particular, a member of my community who was taken from us far too soon. Julian Arnold, who was lovingly referred to as Big Jew, was born on September 15, 1987, was the fourth son out of his 8 siblings. He lived in Cypress Hills with his family. At the young age of 7, he memorized the whole New York City subway map and was able to tell you what train to take and what stop to get off at way before iPhones even existed. He had a deep and caring nature and was one of those people who never said no or I can't. Ambitious and driven, Julian was a dedicated worker, devoted to doing any job with precision, and was beloved by his coworkers. He was also a person of faith and gave back to his community. Julian was a member of Community Church of the Living God, where his father is the presiding bishop. He often assisted his father in many different areas of ministries, such as food pantry, clothing drive, community outreach, and wherever his services were needed. He would also assist members of the church with street ministry, where they would pray and provide counsel to the people of his community. Tragically, on November 7, 2022, Julian was murdered in his own home. This street renaming will not only eternalize Julian's memory, but celebrate his life and everything he stood for, and just giving a special shout out and sending love to the Arnold family today. And with that, I vote aye, with the exception of Reso 88, in which I vote no.
Thank you. Jose.
Permission to explain my vote.
Go ahead.
I vote aye on all except for Resolution 88 and pre-considered proposed introduction 1102, in which I abstain and recuse myself from Resolution 624 for potential conflict of interest. Today's vote is a deep, personal, important vote for me. There is no person of whom I'm more proud of than Reggie Osei, known to the world as Combat Jack and known to me as Dad. His work made New York's unique and renowned music scene accessible far beyond the confines of the 5 boroughs, cementing our position as the cultural capital of the world. He carried talent to stardom and helped build wealth and social capital for people and communities who were often overlooked. He was a New York City treasure. He was also an incredible family man. The same strength and compassion he carried to his work was only amplified when he would come home each day. From him, my siblings and I learned to be forwardly loving, thoughtfully hardworking, and unapologetically Black. He makes me proud to be a Brooklynite and proud to be his son. I want to shout out some supporters and family in this room, my mother, Kim Fan, my siblings, Kai and Kara, and Chuma, who's not here, my dad's colleagues, as well as some of my aunties. I look forward to observing his birthday each year alongside my fellow New Yorkers as Combat Jack Day, and to immortalize him by naming the block on which he raised us, Reggie Osei Place. My dad finished every show by saying, dream those dreams, then man up and woman up, and live those dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. Blah.
Wrestler.
Aye on all, the exception of resolution 88, from which I abstain.
Richardson Jordan.
I want to thank and celebrate with the advocates of Black Panther Way in my district. I am aye on all with the exception of Reso 88, on which I vote no.
Thank you. Riley.
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
It's fitting that I go after Councilmember Osei with the resolution that we're passing today, Resolution 645A. I wear many hats. I had the privilege of wearing many hats throughout my life, but no hat that I've worn is more important than being a dad, and that's no pun intended. Being a father has been a warming experience in my life, especially when I speak about the story of me losing my father to the incarceration system. And being a father to my 3 beautiful children at home and having the opportunity to have a recognition in New York City for June is very overwhelming. And to get a consensus from the entire body today to pass this means the world to me. So thank you. And to Councilmember Osei, thank you so much for getting this in your committee. To my father, who I'm going to record this and send this to him, I appreciate everything that you contributed to my life, even though you wasn't here when I was growing up. You still contributed a lot and made me the man I am today. To my 3 beautiful children, you mean the world to me, and I'll continue to make you proud. And to all the dads out there, happy belated Father's Day. We matter, no matter how it's put out there, we matter. I want you to continue to help raise your families, continue to be positive impacts within your community, and let's continue to uplift the next generation. Thank you so much to my family.
Rivera.
Permission to explain my vote?
Go ahead.
I just want to take a quick second and, a minute I guess, to mention someone that we're also honoring today, Frances Golden. Frances Golden would have been 99 years old today. She's a founding member of Metropolitan Council on Housing and the Cooper Square Committee. And she took on Robert Moses and defended our precious Lower East Side from countless speculators. She was an amazing fighter and for equal rights and housing justice. And the New York Times, in their obituary, called her a protester, provocateur, and a voice for lost causes. She was always dressed in her signature purple, and at every Pride parade since 1971, she would attend and hold a sign that said, "I adore my lesbian daughters, keep them safe." So it is with great pride that we name a street in our district, Frances Golden Way. And with that, I proudly vote aye.
Thank you. Salamanca. Aye on all. Sanchez.
Aye on all.
Schulman.
Aye on all.
Stevens.
Aye on all except intro 1001B, which I abstain.
Thank you. On.
Aye on all.
Velasquez. Vernikov. Williams.
I vote aye on all.
Thank you. One.
Aye on all.
Yeager.
Aye on all with the exception of introduction 561, resolutions 690, 691, 692, and 693, and I abstain on introduction 1102.
Borelli.
I vote aye on all except intro 561B.
Powers. I vote aye. Speaker Adams.
Aye on all.
All items on today's general order calendar adopted by a vote of 48 affirmative, 0 negative, 0 abstentions, with the exception of Intro 561B, adopted by a vote of 42 in the affirmative, 6 negative, and 0 abstentions. Resolution 88, adopted by a vote of 39 in the affirmative, 2 negative, 7 abstentions. Resolution 690 through 693, adopted by a vote of 46 in the affirmative, 2 negative, 0 abstentions. Introduction 1102A, adopted by a vote of 46 in the affirmative, 0 negative, 2 abstentions. Introduction 1001B, adopted by a vote of 47 in the affirmative, 0 negative, 1 abstention. We will now, okay, we're gonna call to Councilmember Yeager to clarify his vote.
No, actually, I apologize, that's a resolution. I apologize, I got it right. Sorry.
Thank you. We will now move into the introduction and reading of bills.
All bills have been referred to committees as indicated on today's agenda.
Thank you. We'll move now to the discussion of resolutions. We will first hear from Councilmember Barron.
Thank you very much, my colleagues. I want to congratulate my comrade, Jose, and his father, I know for that resolution. I know for Ricky Small's resolution and for the Father's Day resolution. But I also want to talk about Cuba. I have a Cuban resolution, and I want our people to understand the value of lifting the embargo and sanctions against Cuba and taking them off the terrorist list. The Cuban people are suffering, but yet Cuba has supported countries all over the world with doctors and technicians. In Africa, they supported, there wouldn't be no Angola without the Cuban soldiers. There wouldn't have been most countries in Africa. Cuba supported that. They also, right here in America, when Katrina hit, Cuba offered aid for our people in New Orleans, and the American government rejected it. I went to Cuba and went to the medical facility there, and to my surprise, after I made my speech, one of the best in the country, in the world, the facility had 2 people from my district, from East New York, getting full tuition in medical school. So Cuba has really helped the world around in Latin America, the Caribbean, here in America, and it's time to lift the embargo, lift the sanctions, and take them off the terrorist list, right on to Cuba. And I want to thank the Speaker, and I want to thank Chair Jose for helping push this forward on this day.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Joseph, followed by Councilmember Yeager. We'll hear from Councilmember Yeager. Both have waived their time to vote. Do we have anyone else sign up for resolutions to speak? Okay. If not, we'll now have a voice vote on today's resolutions. If you wish to vote against or abstain from any of today's resolutions, please notify the legislative document unit by email or by approaching the dais. I'll now read today's resolutions into the record. Resolution 80 calls on Congress to pass and the President to sign legislation in relation to increasing the supply and affordability of certain housing and to justify calculations of area median income for purposes of federal low-income housing assistance and other purposes. Will all those in favor please say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 199 declares June Caribbean Heritage Month. Will all those in favor say aye? All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 285A calls upon the United States Congress the President to end the Cuban embargo and the Cuban travel ban and to remove Cuba from the state sponsors of terrorism list due to unjust harm it causes to Cuban people. Will all those in favor say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 623 designates May 21st annually as Christopher Biggie Smalls Wallace Day in the city of, I never thought I'd have, I get to say that, in the city of New York, and recognizes his contributions to the cultural landscape of his home borough of Brooklyn and to hip hop worldwide. Will all those in favor say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 624 designates July 8th annually as Reggie Combat Jack Osei Day in the city of New York and honors his multifaceted contributions to the hip-hop industry as a lawyer, executive editor, podcaster, and if I can add the son to a council, father to a council member. Will all those in favor please say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Resolution 645A designates June as Fatherhood Recognition Month annually in the city of New York to honor and support the contributions of fathers to family and community life. Will all those in favor please say aye? All opposed say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. We will now move into general discussion. We will first hear from Councilmember Barron.
Thank you very much. First, before I get into my discussion, I want y'all to give me a hand clap. My fifth grandchild was born, little Sarah. So, Inez is so happy and all that. Don't count this against my time because that's some other stuff.
It all counts, my friend.
Let me spend my time at the end. But the bottom line is that we're so happy this is our fifth grandchild. I rise today to make sure that grandchild has health when they finish working and be retired. So I want to make sure that we do that. I'm putting forth a bill today, introducing a bill that will give our retirees a choice. We'll give them a choice to say, I might want to keep my senior care. And if you're going to give us any other care, it has to be equal to what I have or even better. So right now, we're putting forth that bill. And I just want to clarify this information. The Medicare Advantage under Aetna is unacceptable to our retirees for several reasons. One, you have to pay co-payments. Two, by the way, you won't be taken away from collective bargaining agreement. That's a bunch of nonsense. Two, we'll be able to have choices so that when they're in their continued living care, that they'll be able to use that because Medicare Advantage is not accepted in many places. So we don't want to go from not paying premiums, not paying co-payments, being accepted everywhere, having a broad base of services provided, not some superficial stuff to make it look like you have something. So I think the union leadership has been irresponsible to their ranking file members by saying that this bill is bad. This is a good bill, and it's the irresponsibility of the union leadership to say that they will co-partner with Aetna. Aetna doesn't allow unionization. Since when do unions partner with people who don't provide unionization? And Aetna, every black leader that has supported Aetna, shame on you. They insured black people who were enslaved for the slaveholder. They owe us reparations. They admitted it, apologized, but said they're not giving any reparations. And I'll just end with this, just the council members that supported us. I want to thank Lynn Shulman, who supported us. I want to also thank Councilmember Martin, Councilmember Lee Aviles, Councilmember Vernicoff, and so many others who are on board now. And I'd like for you all to get on board and support this. Don't be fearful.
Thank you, Councilmember. We'll now go to Councilmember Brewer, followed by Councilmember Hanif.
Thank you. I'll just bring to your attention Intro 1100, which talks about composting plant waste in parks. Some parks already do that. This would talk specifically about the larger parks where they would be mandated under this bill to do composting. Right now, unfortunately, in some of the parks, particularly the larger ones, a lot of the compost goes to the landfill. So I hope you support that. I want to say something else. I know we have a journalist in the room named Tom Robbins. He is very special to me because when I was in the council before, he and other journalists, Jack Newfield and others, stood over me and said, do not vote for an extension of this city council. Keep it to 8 years, not 12. Of course, in the end, it was 12, but I voted for 8 years because of Tom Robbins. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Hanif, followed by Councilmember Farias.
Thank you. I want to extend my gratitude to Councilmember Barron and my other colleagues introducing Intro 1099. Our municipal retirees served our city honorably throughout their careers. We owe it to them to maintain the healthcare coverage they were promised. I'm excited to be joining this bill as a sponsor. I also want to express my support for Councilmember Osei's FAIR Act. Tenants across the city are struggling, and the shameful stabilized rent increases approved by the mayor's board will make the affordability crisis worse. This bill will provide them with some much-needed relief. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Farias, followed by Councilmember Osei.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today, we have my bill introduction 1101 in conjunction with Councilmember Williams' intro 1118, which would require annual anti-racism training for human services contractors in New York City. Last year, New Yorkers across the city overwhelmingly voted for our city charter to include racial justice measures that require us, the city of New York, to continually work at and be held accountable for upholding and actualizing anti-racism and anti-bias as core government responsibilities and functions. This introduction acts on what hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers voted on and advocated for by codifying structural change into our city agencies for the most outward-facing, such as our human service contractors. If history is our guide, it is our goal that it is attainable only if we strive to change not only the law, but the attitudes and beliefs, and the individual and collective consciousness of those persons now mandated to uphold it. Every day, New Yorkers are impacted by the decisions and work of public servants. That is why we need to support all of our city workers to be equipped with a deep understanding of racism and bias, which in turn will help our workers perform their duties without intentionally and to work unintentionally discriminating and perpetuating racism. We need to lead from the front and show New Yorkers across the city what it means to be truly anti-racist. I urge all of you in this room to sign on to this critical piece of legislation. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hear from Councilmember Osei, followed by Councilmember Sanchez.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Today I introduce a bill co-prime sponsored by Councilmembers Abreu and Feliz, the Fairness in Apartment Rental Expenses, or FAIR Act. Currently, tenants often pay broker fees totaling thousands of dollars when moving into a new rental, even if they did not hire the broker. This is often prohibitively expensive, and it doesn't make sense. Growing families that need an extra bedroom, young New Yorkers graduating out of their parents' houses, voucher holders with nowhere to run, single mothers on a fixed income, or folks just moving to a new neighborhood should not be held down by fees for a service they simply did not pay for. This is not revolutionary. This bill is simple. It's common sense and it's fair. New York is the only major city in which tenants pay this fee for a service they didn't hire. Under the FAIR Act, the one who hires is the one who pays. It's easy. It's a little surprising this isn't already the case, but it's time to catch up with the rest of the country. Let's be clear, this bill does not cap broker fees in any way. Any fees that would be charged before would still be charged. Any services previously provided will continue to be provided. The only change would be that the hiring party pays for the services they contract. If a renter hires a broker to help them find a new home, the renter will pay for the service. If a landlord hires a broker to help them find a new tenant, the landlord will pay for the service. I urge all of my colleagues to sign on to this common sense bill mandating that people pay for services they hire and do not pay for services that they do not hire. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now hear from Councilmember Sanchez, followed by Councilmember Haynes.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Colleagues, a 2017 wage theft study by the Economic Policy Institute found that 32% of New York's construction workers earned wages that were not paid.
It's the highest share out of any industry surveyed throughout the state and impacting our city. In 2017, an estimated 12.6% to 21% of construction workers were either misclassified or working off the books. The groups that are susceptible to this wage theft are, of course, most likely to be Black and Latino workers, undocumented persons, and unusually low-wage workers. And so today I'm introducing intro number 1117, which would require the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection to develop information regarding the prevention of wage theft and require construction sites to post information on how to file wage theft complaints to the State Department of Labor and the New York State Attorney General, and to do so in multiple languages. Intro 1117 builds on recently passed state legislation that strengthens wage theft protections by ensuring workers are made aware of their rights, how exactly they can file complaints with the State Department of Labor and the New York State Attorney General. With this, I just urge you all to join this legislation to protect our construction workers. Thank you.
Thank you. Letting Councilor Franks.
Thank you, Majority Leader Powers. I am proud to be a co-prime sponsor of Intro 1098, which is being introduced today with my fabulous colleague, Councilmember Shawn Abreu, along with others. This bill will make meaningful strides in keeping our community safe by developing and distributing materials about the risks of keeping a gun in a home and gun buyback programs and best practices protocols for maintaining safety. As a chair in the Committee of Public Safety, saving lives is my priority, and I'm confident this will, in fact, help save the lives of our city. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to call on Councilmember Velasquez.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Leader. I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to be able to vote on all items on today's agenda.
Any objections? Seeing none, you go ahead.
I would vote aye with the exception of 561B, which I abstain, 5888, which I abstain, and then there's one more that I know, which I cannot find a number, but if I tell you, you can tell me. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else signed up to speak on general discussion? And then you will just wait for the revised count. All items on today's general order calendar are adopted by a vote of 49 in the affirmative, 0 negative, and 0 abstentions, with the exception of Intro 561B, adopted by a vote of 41 in the affirmative, 6 negative, and 1 abstention. Resolution 88, adopted by a vote of 38 in the affirmative, 2 negative, 8 abstentions. Resolution 690 through 693, adopted by a vote of 47 in the affirmative, 2 negative and 0 abstentions. Introduction 1102A, adopted by a vote of 47 in the affirmative, 0 negative and 2 abstentions. And intro 1001B, adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative, 0 negative, 1 abstention. I'll now call on Speaker Adrian Adams to close out today's speaking meeting.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge before we leave that several of my staff members from my district office in the Great 28 were here today to watch us do our work. Welcome, District 28. The stated meeting of June 22, 2023 is
Wait, hold on
hereby
one second, hold on.
not adjourned.
Sorry,
Is not adjourned.
just so close, my friend.
Ah, yeah. Those are all the UFT people. Right there.
Oh.
See them? That's your UFT people. There you go. Say goodbye. No, guys, they're not going to vote on the bill today. It ends up having to go into committee. And then there will be a discussion and a hearing in the committee.
Okay, quiet in the chamber, please. We are gonna do a revised vote here, resolution 88, adopted by a vote of 39 in the affirmative, 2 negative, 8 abstentions. And resolution 588A, adopted by a vote of 48 in the affirmative, 0 negative, and 1 abstention. We're gonna stand in recess for 1 second.
Jeremy John, DC 37. You recognize him? It's all that steak.
Trying to take your money away.
Now call on Speaker Adrian Adams.
Thank you, Majority Leader. This council stands in recess. Thank you very much.
What do you mean in recess? No, that don't mean.
BLAC meeting, BLAC meeting in the committee room. BLAC meeting. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
15 minutes. Thank you.
They're going to confirm.
Not today. It's not being voted on today. No, it has to go into committee.
That means they cannot decide here.
Not today. So you guys know what's going on. They just took a recess, and we're kind of puzzled by is why they did that. But our legislation doesn't go to a vote today. It is being put into committee, and we believe it is going into civil service and labor under Carmen De La Rosa. So when you start to see our homework come out, that homework is going to be that we're going to start calling civil service and labor. Bye-bye. Civil service and labor to ask them to get this out of committee. So we're going to want to get a majority of civil service and labor on our side, make sure that they end up sponsoring this bill with Councilman Barron. So that will be your homework going forward, is start to work on civil service and labor, as that should be the committee that it is going in, and we will confirm that today. That is what we were told earlier, so that was the expectation. I'm not quite sure why they didn't adjourn, so I do want to hang around a few more minutes just to make sure. And they'll be back in about 15 minutes. What time is it? So we thought we would end about 5. We're probably about right, but we do just still want to make sure that this meeting closes and nothing else happens. So give us a little bit of time to figure out what's going on. But so thank you, Councilman Barron, for introducing this legislation, for Councilwoman Shulman and Ina Vernikov and Alexa Velez and Councilwoman Lee and the others that are jumping onto the legislation. We'll get a full list from the councilman's office so that you know who is supporting it now. And we want to make sure we at least get, 34 council persons to support this. We'll start to make a running list. so that you know who's on board. We also know that as of today, District Council 37, and we believe the United Federation of Teachers, threatened any city council person that would support protecting retiree health benefits would be losing their funding and endorsement from the union. And if that's true, that's a sad day in labor, because labor unions should never be single subject endorsers. You endorse the person that generally supports you for the things that you are doing. And for a union to be stealing retiree health benefits to finance themselves is not labor, is not pro-labor, and is not pro-union. And that's what we are. We are retired labor. We would never have done this to you. So now let's see where you stand. Council's taking a recess, but we're trying.
Gather to look up the nuance. Then this is,
Yeah, you would discuss it and come back and.
then they're going to come, recess is only.
Yeah, if they take a, yeah, it's a short period so they can do their business before they actually go.
But this is, like this, 3 o'clock, this is closed.
They said they're gonna recess in 15 minutes. They hold the meeting for recess until the budget is passed. So that's a whole event where they.
Oh, so you're saying that this is over?
For today, yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought they were like taking a pee-pee break. Maybe they were coming back.
So just to give you guys like understanding, when it's budget season, they hold it in recess.
Okay, so the security just explained to us that when they take a recess, they're taking. Okay, I got it. They're taking a recess. They're taking a recess until the budget is passed, and they don't want to address the budget until elections are over. Primaries are over. So our meeting is over. We will be coming out shortly. If you can see this, we'll be coming out to the truck shortly.
Not a problem.
Hey, thanks for explaining that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd be sitting here all day.
It's all right. Well, hopefully soon.
I imagine that's what somebody would think, of course. Let me get out your way, sir. Sorry.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a great
evening. Afternoon, excuse me.
Well, it would have been like we were here in January. Remember when we were here January 9th? We were here till 9 o'clock at night.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
I don't. We have so many.
The other gentleman was here in the white shirt.
I'm not too sure. We have many late nights, so I'm not too sure, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Have a great one.
You too.
Take care.
Okay, so we're gonna work our way out.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Unfortunately, Tom left.
I know, but he can.
Thank you so much.
Don't tell him.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm still on live stream.
Oh, okay. Can we enter you now?
Sure. We're gonna have like a double interview.
Okay, sure. So, your reaction? It finally happened.
It absolutely. We're totally excited that it finally did happen. We got nervous when we started not seeing council persons show up today for the meeting because usually we see a lot of people show up at the stated, and we were wondering if they were going to have a quorum to be able to do business. But
Bob Henley here with Work Bites. Yes, hello. NWB, I'm gonna plug in. Radio Marianne.
There you go.
Yeah, right. How are you?
Hi.
So now he said he's got 10. He said that he counts 10 right now. That he's
Okay.
got.
Then we
So-
need to get to 34 to make sure that they veto proof, correct?
Right, and then also the added thing is that you had to come send people sign on with the amicus brief. What did that do for you?
It supports our litigation, but I would really like to see the Common Sense Caucus make sure that they're signed on to our legislation. So I know there's a few. I want to make sure the rest of them are, and that will, to me, that's the bow on the package. That they truly are supporting our legislation and our litigation. That would be
And also, Councilman Barron said on the way out that he hasn't given up on getting the appropriation for a one-time fix for the $426 million.
So the $439 million.
Yeah, that.
So honestly, this is how I look at this. The $439 million or $600 million, whatever you want to call it, it's been in the budget for 56 years. See, so it's still there. They were just moving it to finance the union's welfare fund. They should put it back in the budget, earmarked. Actually, it's in the budget. Hello, thank you. It should be, it's still in the budget. It should just be earmarked towards retirees the way it was supposed to. The money's there. They were just saying, okay, we're going to give this to the welfare funds. No, the money's been in the budget. It's been a line item in the budget for 56 years, and it should stay there. The
Great.
money's there.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome. That was short and sweet.
Yeah.
Did you be seeing Councilman Barron?
He just left.
But you will be speaking to him?
Yes.
Just tell us that we really, really appreciate
You all love him,
his
I know.
work. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Hi.
Have you met Beta V. Desai? She's president of the Taxi Drivers Alliance.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And they were having a rally yesterday in front of the governor's office, 40th and 3rd Avenue, exempting cab drivers from congestion pricing.
I know. Hi.
Fighting for, exemption with congestion pricing. But anyway, you guys have our full support.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, we stay in touch through Fred. So.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm going to run back out and see all the retirees, so I'll see you out
You
there.
did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Great presence out there.
Well, I'm going to go back and see them because they've been waiting, so thank you very much. All right, we're coming out, I think. All right, we're on the move. Watch your step.
At least now people can come in and they can testify. You know, that particular, whatever we do that, there's a few days to testify.
Going out this way? No, go out the back door.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Just because they're counting the votes.
Where's the rest of our team? There's Michelle.
Team up, looking up.
Where did Carol go? Did Carol leave?
Marianne, can I just introduce myself?
Yes.
Sarah Wilkins. Oh, are you still
live streaming? See.
They're awesome. No, I just wanted to say hi, and that I retired this month, so
Congratulations.
You can sign me up. I am. Sign me up.
Join our website, www.nycretire.
Yeah.
NYC Retirees is the easiest way to remember.
I sent you $50 yesterday.
Thank
so-
you. Thank you for your donation.
Everybody should.
We can, listen, it was supposed to pour rain today. Look what happened.
Yep.
Right?
That's
So
it.
there's
We
a
got
lot of
lucky.
us. That's right. That's you have to believe. You're on the right side of things.
So thank you for everything.
Yes,
Don't fail
thank
to
you.
call me. I'm on your list. Sarah
Yes.
Wilkins. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Send an email. I'm the one of those emails.
Should we ask him?
Who are you guys waiting on?
I don't know. Peter.
What's going on?
I want to know, are you guys signing on to our bill? And he walks away.
He's thinking. He's still
Goodbye,
thinking.
Peter.
Still thinking.
And Peter Spencer works for Joe Borelli. So as you heard me say before, yes, we were thankful that they put an amicus in our case. However, what they really need to do is get behind the legislation. And let's see if they do that. I guess he didn't want to be on the record.